Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for your Gusto Ratatouille update. Yes, it's a wonderful meal. Listen, I'm looking forward to this one because finally, as you know, my priorities have always been in order in terms of right back and centre midfield. And as much as I've been, starting to get excited slowly but surely on these new attacking signings because of the way that they're either constructed, built, working out in the gym, lifting weights. We see Mudryk all the time with his training, and it looks like as if the guy is built to last, and he's not playing about from a physicality standpoint, as well as what we saw on the weekend. I need the right back. I need the central midfielder. And at last, Gusto's restaurant. We are cooking. We are eating. Scrum d'alliumptious. Gusto. It's not done, but personal terms are agreed, which is easy when a player wants to join you, right? First of all, before we get into it, it looks like Chelsea are about to put in another bid of around 30 million euros, around about that kind of price range. It's not official yet, but it's expected. I have to go big mentality point tick. I said it on All You Can Eat Chelsea. The fact that he is not afraid of the challenge of competing with Reece James. Yes, he's injured. He's injury prone, susceptible, whatever you want to say. He's going to get their game time, and he's been guaranteed that he's going to get minutes. Now, there's two ways this can go. First of all, great to see the mentality that he wants to compete and go up against Reece James, because he is one of the best fullbacks on the planet. Every single signing that we make references Reece James. They understand the importance, the quality of the player, and they're all talking about, I've met Reece James in London. I've spoken to Reece James. Reece James is, brother, he's just that good. Do you know what I mean? He's that guy. But susceptible to injury, so we always needed a quality opportunity on the market to come and take advantage. This player's running out of contract in a year and a half's time, and on top of that, only 19 years old, which surprises me a little bit. I thought we might go down the more experienced route with this position solely because of Reece James's age, and I've spoken about many times before about players competing in the same position in terms of their age, especially if it's direct competition in one particular position and it's not an area where you could pick this player in left wing, but you could flip them onto the right wing, so to speak. Spoken about it many times with Tammy Abraham to Giroud, Foden to David Silva, Azpilicueta to Reece James, etc., etc. I'm quite surprised that a 19-year-old is willing to put himself in this position to compete, but it shows the confidence of the player. Now, let's talk about the player. 16 chances created in Ligue 1 this season. That's third behind Jonathan Klaus, who obviously we was talking about last window in terms of potentially him coming in, but he didn't really favour us because I obviously wanted to make the France squad for the World Cup. And also Frankowski also. So those are the two players that are ahead of him in the right back position in terms of chances created. And that's great. That means that he's good going forward from what I've seen, little glimpses here and there on those comps as you have been learning with me as well. The player looks like as if he's a little bit of an all-rounder. At 19 years old, he's going to make mistakes. So err on the side of caution in terms of what you expect from him if he is to come in terms of starter position. I've liked to see Trevor in the last couple of games kind of go leaps and bounds and beyond, and against Liverpool I think he was really, really solid up until the injury. However, he doesn't give us what we need going forward, so he's kind of that stationary right back, the Azpilicueta under Jose Mourinho, that kind of stays where he is, does his job, wins the ball, distributes and gives it. But this is a player in Gusto that, as we can see by the chances created, he's going to be getting further forward. He's going to be giving us some sort of outlet in an attacking standpoint. Looks like a player that can hold the ball in tight areas. Looks like a player that's really, really quick and rugged. And one thing I'm going to praise us massively on in this window again is the physicality. We want technical ability. We 100% want technical ability. We are looking like we're bringing in players with that ability. Ballers, as you say. But on top of that, we're not forgetting about the P&P. When you take a look at Madueke, when you take a look at Mudryk's training and the way he's kind of gearing himself up, almost like as if he's going into battle in this Premier League. And then you look at Badiashile in terms of his height and his aerial dual success rate. Enzo Fernandez, who we're looking at, again, big dog kind of mentality. Andre Santos just scored a brilliant goal against the under-20s for Argentina, driving through the midfield. Of course, that's a younger age group, but he's been deployed as a 6. We know him as a box-to-box as well. We've spoken about it on this channel already in that special, that he can play in both, and even, kind of likened to a Casemiro in small circles. So in terms of his potential and what he could become, that's another exciting prospect to put into this team. we seem to be ticking all the boxes from a physicality standpoint as well as the technical quality. And I always say you don't have to pick one over the other. You don't have to go down the P&P route or the hard working route without the technical ability. And we're starting to see in this window that we're kind of getting both of those in abundance. And that's something I like to see. Of course, when I check out a player that I don't know too well, I haven't been watching week in, week out, like a Leon player here, I look at the percentiles and he's really strong in assists. Of course, expected assists as well, passes attempted, passes completion, progressive passes are really strong as well. Dribbles completed are not too bad, 83%. Oh, that's good. I mean, when we talk about a player playing out wide now, especially in the modern day, and when we were looking for a fullback or a wing back under Thomas Tuchel, we spoke about Hakimi because of his ability to carry the ball. And at times, when Reece James isn't there, and even with Reece James at times, we do want someone that could potentially, wiggle their way out and go past players and dribble and carry the ball and have that speed and that athleticism, because it's needed if you're going to be on the touchline, if you're going to be in those wide areas. You've got to have winger type traits about you, similar to a Cancelo, but obviously we want the defensive ability on top. So when Reece James isn't there, we ain't getting that from Azpilicueta. We're not going to get that from Trevor. So we need somebody who's able to bring that to the team. And on top of this as well, with Reece James, we know Reece James is very versatile, and maybe Tuchel wanted to play him, and I think that was the case, is that he wanted to sometimes put him in that back three to almost reserve him and to kind of prolong him and to stop him from picking up these injuries. And if we go back to a back three, I mean, at the moment we're in a 4, and I'm happy with that. If we were to sometimes on the off chance play a 3, or off the bench, Gusto was to come on when Reece James is playing and we were to change to a back 3 to be more defensively compact or to add more numbers defensively. If we were leading a game, say 1-0, this is another way of getting a player in. He could go on that wing back position. Reece James could move into the right back or right side centre back position. So again, it allows us to be versatile tactically. It allows us to try things that we haven't tried. Reece James in midfield has never even been thought of because we cannot afford to lose him at right back. Whereas if you had someone with a high ceiling, with a lot of potential, with a lot of quality, with great delivery, you could place him at right back and at one point say to Reece James, you know what, actually, we want you in midfield. We're playing a 3-man midfield today. We want you on the right side at 8 position. Let's see what you can do. We saw it years ago at Wigan. You got a long shot in you. You can switch play. You're strong. You're press resistant. Why not? Let's throw you into midfield. Let's give it a go. We're strapped for injuries, right? We're strapped for injuries. We are always strapped for injuries. We're having injury issues. Reece James, we need you in midfield today. Gusto, you go right back. It just allows us to be much more flexible with our tactics and what we want to do going forward. So I'm excited about the player. I don't know the player ridiculously well. I'm just doing the basic research that you guys do too. 19 years old, very young. Like I said, be very, very cautious about what you expect from these players immediately. And I've said that many a time. Carney, there was a lot of hype around him. Then he starts a few games and he gets a few opportunities, and now people are like, see, why are we so excited about him? He's awful. Lewis Hall, very similar situation. Online, people are saying, see, this is what I'm talking about. This guy, he's not even that good. He's 18 years old. These players are going to make mistakes. They're teenagers. They're playing in these stadiums in this capacity for the first time sometimes, and they are going to have errors. They're going to give the ball away. They are going to have good moments, like away to Manchester City at the Etihad for Lewis Hall, a great performance, and then against Liverpool, not so good performance. It comes part and parcel with playing at the highest level in the Premier League, and that is something that I err on the side of caution with Gusto. Although he looks like a great talent, and I'm very excited about him, and I'm very excited about the fact that we're addressing this position for what looks to be actually a really good kind of fee as well. In terms of this range, I don't know if Lyon are struggling financially with some on their side of things, but when you're acquiring a player of this potential with this price point, that can only be good news. So I'm very happy with that. So yeah, for me, looks like to be a shrewd piece of business. It's not done yet. I have to make that very clear. Interceptions, of course, blocks, all of these things are looking good from his side of things as well. And like I said, he looks like not only is he quick, but he's also down for a tussle, down for a fight. The guy looks physically like he's able to compete. And he's at that nice range. I think sometimes when you look at fullbacks, you don't want them to be overly tall like a Dumfries. I'm not too keen on Dumfries. I think those nippy little players can kind of get around him defensively and kind of, manipulate him a little bit and draw those fouls. But I don't want you to be too short, because back post, far post, headers, that could be targeted. You could be, under siege, under fire. So a nice 5'11", 5'10" kind of range, I think it gives you best of both worlds as long as you've got a leap. And that tends to be kind of what you're looking for at fullback at least in my opinion. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. Long may it continue. Right now, this window is potentially going to be one of our best ever. Let's be honest. If they were to go and secure an Enzo Fernandez, which I'm calming down on, because I don't see how it happens unless we make some serious sales, maybe 2 or 3 players for 30 million a pop or whatever, which is more than possible. I mean, Loftus-Cheek, Gallagher, Ziyech, these guys are available, it seems, or at least a few of them are, but bids have to come in, serious bids, not loan deals, etc. So obviously for FFP to bring that money straight in onto the balance sheet. So let's see what happens. You know, if we get a right back and we don't get a midfielder, who knows? Is Andre Santos going to be part of the first team? Is he going to get that bump up, and is he going to get that opportunity? We've already seen Lewis Hall get a start at Anfield. I think that's progress, even though he didn't play the greatest. So, you know, Potter's showing, we wanted him, right, to play young players. If the seniors are not performing, play young players. We can't then crucify him because Lewis Hall doesn't have a good game. He takes him off, understandably so, we move. That's kind of what the season is becoming now. Opportunities, development, etc. Now, let's see if this actually gets done before we get too ahead of ourselves. But yeah, player looks good, and I am very happy if this gets done because I need a right back and I need a central midfielder. Let me know what you think in the comments down below about the player. Let me know any more information, weaknesses that you feel that he's got in his game as well. And again, talk to me. Midfield, Caicedo, Enzo, which one are you feeling? Which one are you thinking? That is it. I hope you've had a wonderful meal in Gusto's restaurant. And I will see you guys next time. Make sure you subscribe. Big up your damn selves. In a bit, people. Peace.